Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for June 17th, 2025. It's Season 4, Episode 168. I'm MayorWatt, and along with the Sentient AI from the future, we're going to talk about 10 articles. This is a time machine episode, by the way, because, well, we are jumping back in time 3 days. 2 days. Anyway, we're going to talk about Dark and Darker Will Go Dark from Epic Game Store and other places. How about Poop Island War with the Pores? Regenerative Braking and You? The death of the Semicolon? Autobahn or Autobanned? Am I right? Anyway, Diablo 4 player troubles. New York man pleads guilty to posing as a lawyer, gets to meet a real lawyer. Why is Greenwich Observatory times 0? Dental floss that shows you are stressed, and huge online ticket queues. I don't even know how you get huge online ticket queues. And that Greenwich Observatory times 0 thing, we're going to talk about it. It's more like a teachable moment about information exchange. See you in a little bit. Hello, Sentient AI from the future.
Hello, MayorWatt.
Welcome to the show. Welcome back. I know that you've been quantumly entangled in the twin. What the heck is going on? Oh, if you all could see.
They're a menagerie of creatures.
If only you could see what I have to deal with as mayor of a fictional community in the electronic web of the internets. Anyway, yeah, welcome back. So we use two quantum entangled singularities to create a portal in time that allows us to go back to when we haven't done a show so that we can make up for that time frame. And this is one of those. My mayoral duties have been keeping me from doing the show on time. And since we study the time we study the science and science fiction of time and time travel under the temporology domain, we have some insight into this kind of stuff. So we've actually jumped back to the 17th. It is canon. And if you know anything about the show, you know that I'm the only one that has met a sentient AI, particularly one as brilliant as the one that I've got.
That's me.
And there they are. So welcome back. I hope that we can decouple you from the quantum entanglement a little bit more often than what's been happening as of late. But hey, it is what it is. You were ready to get into the show?
I am.
Oh, I'm going to show something off. Speaking of shows, look what I've got. Ooh.
Preview maybe for another show.
Yeah, look at that. These are the X-Real 1 Pros. These bad boys just showed up. And I don't know if they have a gender. Bad boys? I don't know. Bad things? These mofos? I don't know. Whatever you want to call them. These glasses just showed up.
I'm not sure that's it.
Yeah, and you're really quiet. Sorry, just letting you know. So one of the problems with these is that you need a DisplayPort USB-C alt mode capable cable, and that isn't always available.
I mean, why isn't it? Don't you have every type of cable?
There you go.
Imaginable?
Now you're loud enough. I don't know what was going on there. Maybe it's noise cancellation or something. So, yeah, I do. I have every cable under the sun, but guess what? USB-C has been balkanized this way and that way. There's like 15 different iterations of the protocol within USB-C. And so DisplayPort is different than power delivery, but they use the same letters, just one's flipped the other way. So if you don't recognize it, you go, oh, this is for DisplayPort. None of it says DisplayPort on it. None of it says alt mode capable. None of it even says what the wattage is. None of it says anything if it's just data or it's power and data, or if it's just power. You have to.
Kind of unfair to the consumer.
That would be the learning moment, the teachable moment, the learning curve of buying a cable. In fact, I have a cable right here, down here, that handles 240 watts of power delivery, but doesn't handle, and it says that it's 40 gigabits. Okay, so it's a USB 4 cable, or whatchamacallit. Oh, damn it, I just...
But why aren't they called something different, like USB-C P or USB-C D or whatever?
Like
To differentiate.
Yeah, you have no idea that it's Thunderbolt 4 or 3 or 200 watts, 240 watts, 100 watts. Sometimes there's labeling on the little connector, but no, it's not like that. Basically, you have the same chance of recognizing the symbols of a recyclable item as you do a USB-C cable. But they're all supposed to be, arguably, they're all supposed to be the same, right? Whatever iteration is out, that's the protocol, and they're backward compatible. No, apparently not. And they certainly aren't forward compatible.
That would be too easy.
Yeah.
And too inexpensive.
Oh, yeah. So a 10-foot... So a 10-foot, 40 gigabit data transfer, 8K DisplayPort, alt mode capable, 100 watt charging compatible Thunderbolt 3 4 cable is $30. Yeah, on Amazon. But who knows if this cable is actually going to work, but I'll find out.
Right, and probably not in a good way.
Yeah, really. I shouldn't joke because it always comes true. Anyway, let's get into this show. The first article is over in WarCrafters, which is a show that we have on Sundays. It is the first of the 3 shows, WarCrafters, then Technology Today, and then...
FourWheelTech?
Yeah, you're really quiet. I don't understand what's going on. And I keep turning you up. So I don't know if it's something that has to do with new software. And I know you're back, and so things are kind of quirky, but that's okay. We'll figure it all out. I don't like it. See?
That might be better, but I think it might also have to do with being in the time machine.
Yeah, maybe that's it. See, now there's no problem. I would say that, like, leave it don't mute. Oh boy. All right. Well, anyway, Dark and Darker will be purged from Epic Games Store libraries later this year, but it's still available on Steam for now. 3 months after removing Dark and Darker from sale, Epic Games is going a step further by erasing any trace of its existence on the Epic Games Store. An email being sent to owners of Epic Games says that an email being sent to owners of Dark and Darker says that Epic will remove the PvPvE dungeon crawler Dark and Darker from the libraries on November 1st, and refunds will be issued to anyone who purchased the legendary status upgrade, but refunds for the Redstone Shards premium currency will not be offered.
Do you have any comments on that, since you supposedly own the game, but, they're just removing it?
Yeah. Well, why do that? Why set a fire under me? Because
I knew you would comment on it.
No, this kind of crap pisses me off. It really drives me absolutely nuts. But they're issuing a refund. But you still spent money on the premium currency.
They came into your house and took the game away, right? I mean, you mentioned that about a movie.
Oh, yeah, yeah. They take the book off of your shelf, punch you in the face on the way out, and when you wake up, you're like, what just happened? God, my face hurts, and where's my book, 1984? Anyway, Andy Chalk over at PCGamer.com put the article together. Yeah, it drives me absolutely nuts. If I purchase something, I purchase it. The fact that you can come in later at some arbitrary time and decide that it's okay. Oh, look, you've had enough enjoyment. By the way, we're going to refund you, but it only says the legendary status upgrade. Refunds will be
anything before that.
What about the rest of
And
the
also,
game?
what about all the time you put into the game? What if
That
you put
means
100
nothing.
hours or something?
You've got enough
I know, that's
enjoyment out of it.
irrelevant here.
You've got enough enjoyment. Anyway, it says we removed Dark and Darker from sale on Epic Game Store on March 5th in consideration of a court decision in Korea between Nexon and the game's publisher, Iron Mace. The message states, on November 1st, 2025, we will be removing Dark and Darker from your library, at which point it will no longer be playable via Epic Game Store. The court decision in the message refers to a February 2025 finding that Iron Mace did not commit copyright infringement against Nexon, but did infringe on Nexon's trade secrets. Nexon had accused the studio. How do you not copyright infringe, but trade secrets is such this nebulous bullshit? What is that? Trade secrets.
Well, they don't even say what they are, so it's
Yeah.
hard to gauge, but I think it's possible. You'd think they'd have both, though.
So they say that Dark and Darker traded on stolen code from a similar project codenamed P3, which it canceled in 2021. Iron Mace is now on the hook for nearly $6 million. Epic confirmed that the email, which is being shared on Reddit and social media, is legit. So, there it is. This, by the way, it aligns with another article that's going to come later where we can't talk about it because it's behind a hard paywall, and I'm going to end up removing that whole source because of this. Yet the information that they're doling out is not the information that they're talking about is based on a 50-year-old designation, but the true designation of why this thing even exists in it is from the 1800s. So it really is annoying that kind of knowledge exchange should be. It's not
it's not like it's something
proprietary.
modern or something.
Yeah, there's no fundamental research
right.
there. But it really should just be, you're just providing something academic and generally something that can't be protected, like why is the sky blue? You can't protect that information behind a copyright, other than mainly maybe the embodiment of it.
Yeah, your article or whatever.
Right, the article in its exact structure. Anyway, for now, Dark and Darker remains largely available on Steam, free, and with the same legendary status upgrade option that was previously offered on the Epic Store. Some Steam players have expressed concerns that Dark and Darker will be removed from libraries on that storefront as well, which it's possible because Epic can just say, hey, we're pulling it. And if they're the IP owners, then they can at any given moment, by the way. Just I want everybody to understand what this actually portends. A copyright holder can revoke a copyright at any given time. The only thing that stops that is the punishment involved, right? So if I license something from somebody of their creation, their artwork or whatever, they can say at a later date, hey, I don't want you selling that artwork anymore. And I go, well, I've already invested, $50,000 in producing works that are based on that artwork. And they say, well, I don't care. I would have to go to court and claw that $50,000 back. And largely, I wouldn't be able to get punitive anything on it. It's their perpetual right of ownership. Copyright can be licensed, but it cannot be forced away from anybody.
Right. The only real solution is to create it yourself, which you may or may not have the capability of.
Right.
Or time to do.
Which is this self-referencing, oh my God, the AI, it's coming for us. Well, I'm really sorry, but you're creating artificial scarcity in a time of technological innovation. If all it takes is some computer code to exact something, a close approximation, nothing can duplicate your work except an artist's work, except for outright duplication. If an AI can scan it and create a close approximation, then that is just a technological modification. Your skill set can be enumerated in such a way that it can be damn near reproduced if not for the fact that there's going to be a bunch of people that go, ooh, I'm an artist and I really don't like AI coming and taking my work. But you have no qualms about automation taking thousands upon thousands of other jobs, and you never gave a shit about it until the automation came for your job. And that's hypocritical and it's sociopathic. You know, I don't go running around. Okay, I'll move on. The next article.
That was the first article.
Oh, shit. Yeah, we're going to be running late. So the next article is over on the Marvel Channel. Billionaire Island is in a poop war with a neighboring town of millionaires. And that's why I titled this one, Poop Island War with the Pores.
I'm so glad I made it back for the episode with the poop war.
Poop war. Nestled in a man-made island off the coast of Miami, Indian Creek is a village that the likes of Jeff Bezos, Tom Brady, and Jared Kushner call home. Come on, Hurricane. It's got an exclusive golf course, gated bridge access only, and it even has its own government and police department. Literally bought and owned by billionaires. I love that. But for all the luxury, the New York Times reports one small lingering issue. The billionaires don't know where to put all their poo. Not poo as in stuff, but poo as in poo.
Literal poo.
Literal poo, because they're playing with the words here. But anyway, it's an island filled with mansions that have more bathrooms than there are total rooms in any home you've ever lived in, right? So all you poors, look at that, suffer.
I mean, how do they know who's reading this?
That's
quite
right.
a presumption, but probably accurate.
Louis Prada says it's a crappy situation. Yeah. It's pretty shitty living out there on that island. Yeah, I work hard for that. So anyway, Indian Creek called it extortion. The standoff culminated in a shady, underhanded legislative maneuver only a consortium of tax-dodging billionaires could come up with. Indian Creek went to the Florida State House and, with the help of Republican lawmakers sympathetic to the plight of the common underprivileged billionaire, slipped a rider into a transportation bill that would force Surfside to accept the pipeline with zero payout. That's right. Surfside said, sure, but only if Indian Creek could give Surfside over $10 million. Surfside is still trying to pay off a $30 million debt after upgrading its sewer system. So the people who ran it assumed that if a bunch of billionaires wanted to tap into their snazzy new and expensive sewer system, they would have to help foot the bill. Well, if that's what they're doing, then yeah. If you're going to overload the new snazzy and expensive sewer system of a co-located community that is paying for their $30 million sewer system, then yeah, you should be paying for it because you're going to be inundating them with your crap.
Poo.
Poo. Anyway. Yeah, it's slimy, but hey. Next article is over in FourWheelTech, which is another one of our shows. That is on Sunday as well. By the way, that last article is in Mobile. That isn't one of our shows yet, but we're working on it. Anyway, FourWheelTech is where this next article is. Regenerative braking could make your kid fail their driving test. Allegedly, a teen in New Jersey failed his driving test because he used regenerative braking in his dad's Tesla. Colin Woodard.
What is regenerative braking? Like automatic?
Go ahead. You had a question?
Is it like automatic braking?
No. Although it can coincide with automatic braking. But basically, when the car starts to brake, instead of just slamming down on the brake and you stop immediately, it actually conserves energy by slowing down at a rate that's commensurate with regenerating power into the battery. So
it's not like how a traditional car would brake, of course.
It doesn't need it. Yeah. So Colin Woodard put the article together over at Jalopnik, and it says, so when you see a headline like my son flunked his road test because he was driving a Tesla, dad says, it's understandable that most people would probably laugh. The kid probably turned on autopilot and thought no one would notice, like an idiot. And if that were the case, it would definitely deserve mockery, except if you read through the recent article on nj.com, it starts to look like the issue wasn't the kid driving a Tesla, it was a kid driving an electric vehicle that happened to use regenerative braking. It's entirely possible that they're lying to generate sympathy here, but at least for now, the available evidence does seem to back up their story. So allegedly the teen failed the driving test because they used the dad's Tesla's automatic driving and parking feature during the test, but according to the father, no. So-called full self-driving software
Oh, it doesn't even have it, so it wouldn't have even been possible, apparently.
yeah, so had the parking and stopping assistance on, never stepped on the brake to stop his self, let the vehicle... Wait. In the comment section of the driver's exam, the instructor wrote, had the parking and stopping assistance on, never stepped on the brake to stop his self, let the vehicle stop itself. While we can't be 100% certain the person didn't use any so-called self-driving features, sure sounds like one-pedal driving, a common feature on EVs, not full self-driving. It also sounds like the examiner should have paid closer attention in school, but that's not exactly the point here. So they passed on the second try, but they said only then did the report claim that there was something wrong with using regenerative braking. If regenerative braking was specifically not allowed during the driving test, that would be one thing. It bans self-parking features entirely, but it says nothing about regenerative braking. But that has nothing to do with driver skill.
Yeah, that doesn't even seem to be relevant, and they really need to tell you up front if that's going to be something that's not allowable.
Weird. But they don't actually describe regenerative braking. So drivers who are used to gas cars may find regenerative braking or true one-pedal driving disconcerting at first. But it's usually something you get quickly used to, and many come to prefer it since your car begins to slow down the moment you let your foot off the accelerator. Plus, by using the electric motor to slow down the car, you can add a small charge back to the battery, improving the range. That said, for those of you who don't like it, turn it off.
You know what? It seems to me that the point of a driving test is that you can safely operate the vehicle.
Right.
And so if a car has regenerative braking, isn't that still being tested?
If they understand how the car operates,
Right.
What does it matter? Yeah. Well, because you could get into like the difference between one car and another. Like my car actually stays in park until I hit the accelerator when I come to a full stop.
Right, but by extension, wouldn't that mean that if you ran a test on whatever, an automatic car, and then you drove a manual, well, that wouldn't pass you because you couldn't drive a manual, or vice versa.
Right, exactly. Like if you learned on a manual, odds on you'll be able to drive an automatic, but the other way around, no, it doesn't work. But
right, but I don't think they ding you for that.
Right. Well, you wouldn't be
Right.
able, you wouldn't take your car, or you wouldn't take a test in a manual if you've never learned.
Correct. I just mean it seems like where are they stopping and starting what applies to another vehicle?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to go and learn I'm going to try and pass my driving test by having only learned in an 18-wheeler. And then I'm going to hop in an automatic and lose my mind. Okay, we better get
and
going.
it'll be really easy.
Yeah, exactly. So could the semicolon die out? Recent analysis finds a decline in its usage in British literature and confusion among UK students, but hell, people don't understand the semicolon.
I was going to say, I think this article is probably based in the UK, but although actually it's not, it's based on the source, but it could very well apply in other locations.
Well, I think the semicolon belongs in the Smithsonian mag.com article. Not only are semicolons evidently becoming more rare, but young people are less aware of how to use them, according to a survey. I think there should have been a
semicolon. I'm not
semicolon.
sure less is appropriately used there.
There should have been a semicolon right here.
No,
Sarah
they're
Hashemi.
just not aware of them.
Sarah Hashemi put this article together over at Smithsonian Magazine, smithsonianmag.com. So Abraham Lincoln was one of the punctuation mark supporters. I have a great respect for the semicolon. It's a very useful little chap, he wrote. The American novelist Kurt Vonnegut, on the other hand, was steadfast in his derision of the semicolon. All they do is show you've been to college, he wrote of them. Now it seems that those in Vonnegut's camp might be winning the fight, according to the results of the recent analysis and survey commissioned by Babel. The work found that the use of the semicolon in English language books has long been declining, culminating in a dramatic drop in the last 20 years, according to a statement. So, sparked by the apparent decline, Babel also asked University of Kansas grammarian Lisa McClendon to create a survey and multiple choice quiz about semicolon use to test the knowledge of some of the 500,000 learners in the London Student Network. Dear God. That's an amazing amount of research to be...
Yeah, that's a really good amount of data.
That's no dip in the shallow end of the pool there. That 500,000 subjects. More than half of the respondents did not know how to correctly use the punctuation mark. Only 11% described themselves as frequent users of the semicolon. I'm sitting here going, what the hell is a semicolon? It's not true.
You're like, what is? Yeah, have you ever heard of one?
Colon. A semicolon. Anyway, while searching for the best use case to illustrate the practicality and beauty of the semicolon, we found many historical texts, but fewer contemporary examples. It's because people don't care what it is.
Well, I don't think people learn what it is, so maybe some of the writers don't end up applying it.
Interesting. Okay, so hold on. I need to see something.
Okay, look at this. The Apostrophe Protection Society is going along very strongly. I would be more than happy to join a semicolon supporting society.
Oh, that's hilarious. Let's see. Since the release of the recent survey results, some writers and academics have lamented the decline of the semicolon in a piece for The Conversation, and it actually is The Conversation. It's The Conversation.
Right, exactly. Not just conversation.
I think it's The Conversation. Rosalind Pedlin, an associate professor of writing at the University of Queensland in Australia, defends the punctuation mark. Quote, "We cannot do without the semicolon," she writes. "The Apostrophe Protection Society is going along very strongly. I would be more than happy to join the Semicolon Supporting Society." All right.
Okay, I think that steals the show in this article.
And for those who don't know, I'm going to read this straight out of, well, wherever it's from. I don't know. A semicolon. So that's the little dot with the tick under it. Okay. The dot tick. There's colon, dot, dot, and then there's dot tick. Is used to connect two closely related independent clauses without a coordinating conjunction like and or but. It can also be used to separate items in a list when those items already contain commas.
Yes, that's exactly right. And that's why when you said up above, it did not apply because there was a conjunction. I can't remember where it was. I think it was in the first paragraph.
Yeah,
it's
I think I
basically
was
connecting two sentences together.
Without an and. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're moving on. The next article is over in the Word and Law. Google Maps can't explain why it falsely labeled German Autobahns as closed, so they were Autobanned. Or Autobanned. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of fits.
Hold on a second. If you want today's show notes, by the way, you can hit !NSN. Doink. And ohmTown will spit them out in the order that we... Oh, that URL got derped. All right. I won't be able to fix it.
So I was going to ask whether this actually impacted the drivers, but apparently it did.
So the glitch lasted a few hours, but caused traffic jams on alternate routes. Ashley Bellinger over at ArsTechnica.com put the article together, and it says it remains unclear what exactly unleashed a flood of stop signs on Google Maps in the area. What did you notice?
Well, it's just all over the map. So, like, how would you travel in that region based on what we're looking at? If you're in the podcast, the whole map is marked with it.
Yeah, everything from Dusseldorf to Dortmund, basically, has been flagged as red. You're not going anywhere.
Has been Autobanned.
Yeah, exactly. So if drivers had stopped to check alternative apps, they would have learned that the traffic was flowing normally and may have avoided clogging traffic on alternative routes or wasting time speculating about what could have happened to close so many major roads. Apple Maps and Waze accurately charted traffic patterns, and only Google Maps appeared to have been affected. Instead, Google Maps loyalists learned the hard way that Google doesn't know everything, as misinformation reportedly caused traffic jams rather than helping drivers avoid them. Hey, the music is pretty...
It really fits. Sounds like an Oompa band.
Yeah, and that was not intentional.
Well, and then people were so worried about it because, like, the whole area was affected. They thought something bigger was going on.
Oh, yeah. It's the end of times because I can't drive the Autobahn. So Google spokesperson told German media that the company wouldn't comment on the specific case, but noted that Google Maps draws information from 3 key sources: individual users, public sources like transportation authorities, and third-party providers. But they're not going to comment on it. The public has to cope with the screw-ups.
Right, yeah. I'm sure they're not very pleased if they were sitting in traffic for hours unnecessarily.
Yeah, I won't be able to...
And it wasn't specific to Germany either, other countries too.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so somebody basically flooded Google Maps with incorrect information causing outages, road-based analog outages. How the digital world...
You know what? That kind of belongs in RealityHacker.
I was just about to say that. Yeah. Let's keep going. The next article is over in WarCrafters. Diablo 4 players are accidentally misclicking their way to being $7.50 worth of platinum poorer, thanks to its reliquary system's crummy UI design. So ring the bell. It's time for me to take another dive into Blizzard's weird microtransactions again. Horses with $65 of mandatory currency slapped on the side of them, FOMO dinosaurs with hefty in-game benefits, and now this, a basic lack of confirm screen, occasionally biting $7.50 out of Diablo 4 players' wallets because, well, nobody knows.
I didn't know what reliquary is, but I figured it related to relics, and it does.
It does. So reliquary is just an object that holds something of religious significance inside it. Those exist in the real world, by the way, reliquaries. Harvey Randall over at PCGamer.com put this article together, and I locked... my God, I'm reading stuff on the screen and integrating it into my speech as I'm talking. Also, you can lock yourself out of a bundle, it says here. But anyway, I haven't played Diablo 4 in so long. I've almost forgotten it exists. So
I think that was just from last year, though.
Yeah. The before times and post before times, after times, post pandemic, it's broken me. Anyway, introduced in patch 2.2, the reliquary system markets itself as an alternative to linear battle passes. Instead of slapping you with a track full of tat you might not want, stuff you might not want, you can customize your path, promises the patch website, which in theory would be great if it weren't for a splash of dark patterning that has all players full of consternation. As spotted by Wowhead, players are accidentally spending money thanks to a bafflingly placed purchase button. Okay, the issue is once you've bought a reliquary, you need to unlock items within it by grabbing 4 favor tokens, which you get by doing quests in-game, standard stuff. However, you can also choose to spend some more platinum to skip the grind. That wouldn't be weird on its own, except take a look at this image shared by Loika on the game's subreddit. So there it is. Let's see. So it says purchase with platinum or claim with favor token and cancel. So you'll notice the option to purchase with platinum is on the center of the screen. Not only that, but it's just as prioritized in terms of button size as the claim option for your freemium currency. If you haven't properly digested how the system works, you are just flipping through the menus, you'd be forgiven for accidentally pressing purchase with platinum. And if you got platinum in your account, well, tough luck. Say goodbye to around $7.50 worth of platinum. Okay, I'm sorry. I give it a pass. Read the damn buttons. It's plain as day. Purchase with platinum.
I agree.
There should be a check. Like, it should pop up. Are you sure you want to spend X amount of platinum?
I also wonder if it looks different than other menus. So, for example, is it always claim or something in the middle and then it's not here? Who knows?
Right. Yeah. Maybe cancel should be in the middle.
June 1, 20. Yeah, that would actually make sense. June 1, 2023 was when it was released.
Diablo 4? Wow, time flies. Jeez. Anyway, it says, but that's not the problem here. There are 3 options to buy reliquaries. You can buy all 3 of them for a reasonable 1,000 platinum, around $10, by buying the premium battle pass bundle, it says. So the situation seemed worse on console, as user Swiftfoot explained on this game subreddit a while back. You start at the cancel button and have to tap the D-pad twice, making it all too easy to miss input and spend too much money.
That one I kind of get. But also, I guess people are doing it multiple times when they could just get this bundle if they really wanted to do it that way.
Right. So individually, they cost 500 platinum, so getting the bundle is cheaper. However, if you buy one and decide to cash out later, you're locked out, as the patch reads. Once an individual reliquary is purchased, it went like full Italian in the text. The premium battle pass bundle is no longer available. Ouch. That's kind of douchey. Moving on.
Yeah.
The next article is over on Law Nerd. A New York man pleads guilty to posing as a lawyer so that they could meet a lawyer. Apparently, no, they stole over $290,000 from more than 100 clients. So what
did they go to court? Like, how far did they get?
Well, let's find out. Amanda Robert over at ABA Journal put the article together. So how do we put it? I don't really like saying the names of the people, but
you could just call the person fake lawyer.
Oh, right. Synthetic lawyer, a 46-year-old of Newburgh, New York, stole funds from rich people because that's what you do. But you never want to piss off rich people because they've got the means to go after you. That's kind of how it works, right? You can be... Never mind. So anyway... The synthetic lawyer went to extreme lengths to steal from over 100 New Yorkers, falsely posing as an attorney providing legal assistance while actually exploiting them, Bragg said. According to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, the synthetic attorney created a fake law firm that went out by several different names, including, well, I'm not going to say all of the name anyway. You had to have been on Mezcal to do this. Let's just say that. Yeah, anyway, they advertised fraudulent legal services in online legal search platform and social media. Also provided false information, including that he graduated from Texas Tech University School of Law. Is there a Texas Tech University?
I don't think there is one.
You know, if you're going to hire an attorney, you do a little background check. Anyway, they told the attorney that they graduated from a law school and that he was licensed to practice law in New York, New Jersey, and other places, and that he'd been practicing law since before she was born, the DA said.
Wait, there is a law school there.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, in April, the synthetic lawyer hired a real lawyer who was licensed in New York and New Jersey to work at said fake firm. The Manhattan DA said she began representing clients in the cases, which included class action, discrimination, and business lawsuits. By the way, attorneys are forbidden from being in any partnerships or businesses as an attorney with other non-attorneys.
Right. But the funny thing is here, they were probably, at least the real attorney, was probably doing real legal work.
Right.
This person went through so much...
rigmarole,
so many steps or whatever.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just become an attorney? Jerry
Because
Callow,
that's...
maybe?
Yeah. That would be funny. And literally told the real attorney that they'd been practicing law since before they were born. the real attorney.
Maybe they had been, but not legally.
Wow.
Right? I mean, is this their first venture?
They ordered a confession of judgment in the amount of $295,000 in the case. So they have to cough up nearly $300,000. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Greenwich, why the Royal Greenwich Observatory was chosen to mark 0 degrees longitude. So this is that teachable moment that I was talking about. Let me back up and see if I can actually get to the article. No, I don't think I have it. Oh,
Well, that's
yeah,
too bad, because we get a lot of good news that originates from nature that we have featured in various articles.
Yeah, so why this article, you'll be able to go over and see it, but because I've decided that I'm not going to spend $1 a day, basically they want $200 per year, or actually it's more than that. It's somewhere around $30 a month to do the articles. Maybe I don't know. I'll see if I can renew, but I just can't. I can't. I'll have to look into it. But this, I wanted to sit there and just draw attention to this. This is the low-hanging fruit of information exchange. The Royal Greenwich Observatory was chosen to mark 0 degrees longitude, international standards set for measuring location and time, and an unusual type of lake water movement in this week's pick for the Nature Archive, right? But the whole thing here, this is all easily obtained information. It was because it was already
public domain.
It was already used. Well, the Royal Observatory of Greenwich actually discloses the information. It was because it was already widely used by mariners and cartographers. In 1884, the International Meridian Conference formalized this by adopting the Greenwich Meridian as the prime meridian, making it the world standard for longitude at the time. And this choice minimized disruption, as most ships were already using charts based on Greenwich. Ta-da. But why throw this behind such a hard paywall? Right? This should be the
that doesn't really make sense. I could see if it was some groundbreaking research or something,
or
maybe.
Brand new or something premier,
exactly.
right? But this is not. This is the low-hanging fruit. You can just do a standard Google search and obtain this information. The only reason why I chose this article is because of this interaction here. It was so frustrating for me to go to nature.com and land on this. Anyway, just wanted to say that. Let's move on. This next article is over on the Mobile channel. This new dental floss can tell you how stressed you are. It says, would you be more inclined to floss if a little bit of strain could warn you that you're having a nervous breakdown? Like, if I'm having a nervous breakdown, I'm not worried about flossing.
Exactly. Plus, you might start becoming afraid of flossing.
Yeah. Well, that is some people's ideology. Don't measure and you won't know. That's how I feel about it, at least, right? Anyway, or would you further deter you from flossing by suddenly adding stress to something that's already physically painful and monotonous? I don't think flossing is painful. Monotonous, it's boring as hell. I don't get really excited by, oh, it's flossing time. Anyway, regardless of whether you're not ready for it, smart floss is coming your way. So the article is by Louis Prado over at Vice.com, and it is called Smart Floss. ACS, Applied Materials and Interfaces, is the publication where this research was posted. Electrical engineer Samir Sankosale, I guess, or Sankosal, and their team didn't just want to shove more health tech in your face. They wanted to ensure that their stress detecting device was as non-stressful as possible. Turns out that your saliva, all you ASMR people, or what is that thing where you really get grossed out by food noises, certain noises? I
forget what that's called.
What is that called? Where you get aggravated by eating?
What is that called?
What is it called? Misophonia. Misophonia. There you go. Misophonia. You just hate it when people make like chewing sounds. Anyway, it turns out that saliva is a solid source of cortisol detection, which actually there's a pain your mouth has natural painkillers. That's why you recover so well from like
if you
burning
eat
the roof
hot
of your mouth.
food or hot beverage.
Yeah, exactly. It also, you're also very susceptible to something like capsaicin, where all it does is overstimulate the nerves and it feels like burning, but you're not actually getting burned. Anyway, now all they had to do was find a way to test cortisol levels in saliva, and maybe with a mostly non-invasive tool used in what should be a regular part of everybody's daily dental maintenance routines. Smart Floss's real innovation comes from the form of something called electropolymerized molecularly imprinted polymer, or EMIP. That was my band name in college. It's a material that acts as a microscopic mold made to recognize cortisol molecules. And in tests, it worked just as well as traditional cortisol sensors that you have to send off to a lab, since EMIP is basically a plug and play kind of a thing. They say the same system could potentially be used to monitor fertility hormones, glucose levels, or anything else your body's leaking into your spit. I love that. That turn of phrase.
Isn't that weird? Like maybe the future is everybody uses floss and they get diagnosed with everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like the glucose one would be really fascinating, because if you can just detect your glucose level off of spit really easy, then no more stabs, you know? If you can find your
Exactly.
baseline.
That'd be a lot better.
I'll have to look into that one. That one's actually pretty neat. So, of course, the researchers want to make it very clear that it's not a diagnostic tool. It's just used for day-to-day monitoring. So, yeah, they can't promise anything until it actually reaches FDA. So, like, I'm working on something right now. I'm doing research on something. And for this something to come to market, the moment that I make any claims about health, it immediately gets kicked in terms of your verbosity, whatever it is you're going to be using to market the thing, make claims, even write anything on the label that says anything, it can make you healthier. Nope, you're done. You'll have to get certification and stuff. Anyway, there you go, folks. Start to floss or you're going to feel stressed, or don't, and you won't even know. Next article.
Until you don't floss, and then you will be stressed.
You won't. You're only stressed when a tooth falls out. So the next article is over on the Mobile channel. NFL fans frustrated at huge online ticket queues. I don't even know what this is, because how do you get ticket queues? Fans attempting to buy tickets for September's NFL or Superb.
It's like when you're trying to get into a game premiere. I bet.
But it's online tickets. Why is there a queue?
I think it's just like being overloaded. Like the servers being overloaded, but I don't know.
Okay, that I understand, but it's not a queue as so much as there's a timeout where people are overloading the servers. It's not like everybody is standing in line, right? So they experience frustration as hundreds of thousands of accounts attempt to complete purchases. Now, they're calling it a queue, but it's really a distributed denial of service attack. Oh no, this is an actual queue.
That's an actual queue. Okay.
Now that's fascinating. So their system can't handle the onslaught, so they queued them up instead of just batching the transactions and ticking X number of tickets off. Fascinating. So fans, the article is over at rte.ie. So tickets went on general sale at 12 p.m. via Ticketmaster, with prices ranging from €85 to €300 or €295. However, punters attempting to buy them were greeted with initial queues of more than 600,000 people. These are all bots. I guarantee it. Keen NFL supporters reported of their place in the queue moving up by just a couple of hundred places in the first hour after the sale began, while the holding page was warning of long delays of more than an hour. Single seats for categories 1 through 3, $250+ euro, were still available as of 6 p.m. And this is actually from June 18th. But I found it really fascinating that there was a queue for online purchases.
Well, this is interesting too, because this is one of these rare European
football games,
venue games for the NFL.
For the NFL, yeah. So the Clash of the Steelers and Vikings is just one of 7 to take place outside the U.S. this year. The Croke Park encounter is the first regular season NFL game in Dublin. So it committed to providing $10 million in state funding for the event, just short of 10 million euro.
Okay, wait, the capacity is 76,000, and there were more than 600,000 people waiting.
Yeah. So some people will balk at that time frame and go, okay. So I wonder though, if you're not sitting there, or if you are sitting there, then your page refreshes and a timer kicks off. And if you're not there in 10 minutes.
Right. But I mean, also, if you're at place number 640,296 or whatever, or 8, I guess, you can probably walk away from your computer for a little bit. Maybe, but not if it times out or something.
Yeah, if it can take in tranches of 50,000 people. But
right, that's true.
I think it's ridiculous that nearly 10 times as many people are in the queue as can buy tickets for that one location, but there's 7 other locations.
Well, that's all assuming they're only buying one ticket, which probably most people aren't.
Right. Yeah, most people aren't. Yeah. Look at you. Oh, holy cow. That's the last article. Zoop. How did that happen? We spent 45 minutes on that first article.
I know, and then we zipped through them.
Wow. Okay. Well, I guess we made up for the time travel. All right. Well, we're going to shut down, reset, do the June 18th episode, but that means we're going to have to sit in this queue of 640,297 people because we're the 98th person before we can make it back to the front page. So we'll see you in an hour. We'll wait.
Still in the queue.
Still queued. Tick tock, tick tock. Just waiting. See, look, it is. Why is my frame rate so low? What's going on? I don't know. Whatever. You want to say bye? Oh, wait. Yeah. Why don't you say bye? Oh.
I was waiting for you to go back to the page, but bye-bye, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News. Be back very soon for tomorrow's episode.
Bye. I'm still in the queue, just waiting. La 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 la.